Hey, you lovely lot, it's only me, and I've come to my place of work to Manor Park South, or Barons, down here in Southampton. Now, we've got an auction happening on Saturday, and why that's exciting is because I always do my top 5 walkarounds, as you know. These are the cars, if it was my money, I would like to take home, and as it is my money, who knows, maybe I will take one home. Join me for my top 5. So number 1, it has to be an air-cooled pick. If there's an air-cooled vehicle in the auction, you know I'm going to go straight to it. And beach buggies are one of my first passions. My first car was a Beetle. I've had several beach buggies, all GPs. Now this is a Jas buggy, and I think they're very pretty because you've got pretty much like a Mayors-esque, GP-esque front end. Really quite a nice, gorgeous back end on this. It's a short wheelbase chop buggy, and it's actually owned by our auctioneer here, Duncan. This is his vehicle. Now, since it was built, it's done 8,000 miles, but I just particularly like the way it's built. I love the Jas shell. I think they're very nice. The colour couldn't be more period perfect for me. The hardtop is a really nice addition. Not only does it give it that kind of Manx flavour, but I really think it just makes it more practical. The problem with my beach buggy, it never had a roof, so all you need is a light shower, and it spoils your journey. Where this, in spring or summer or autumn, it's just that tiny bit more practical. Everything about the way it's been done, the mounting wheel, the kind of really 90 spec rims, the bucket seats, just the stance, it's just gorgeous. It really does work. Even the filler, all the little details are just right on this buggy. Now, since it was built, it's only done 8,000 miles, and it's just had a full fuel system overhaul, deep clean, the whole lot. She's just ready to go. Now, 8.5 to 9.5 would buy you that. I don't think that's a huge amount for that buggy because it would probably cost you at least 25, even if you're doing the work yourself, to build one to that standard with those components. That is my pick number 1, my air-cooled pick. Now, my second pick is this. This is a holiday pick. Now, the Bedford CF is a van that's very dear to my heart for lots of reasons. As you can imagine, as a small child, even as a large child, I spent a lot of my time chasing them for ice creams because back in the 70s, this was the ice cream van of choice, the Bedford CF. I also was part of a gang, you might have heard of us, we were pretty tough on the streets, called the Tiger Club in the late 70s, early 80s, when I was about 7. And we also used to meet in the back of a Bedford CF, a scrap one with their engine or gearbox. So in my formative years as a street tough gang member with my catapult and my pea shooter, we're in the back of a Bedford CF. But this one's particularly lovely because, look at it, it's really clean. There's only the tiniest amounts of little rust coming through. But 2 or 3 years ago, it had a monster overhaul inside to make it a full, up-to-date modern camper. But it's also got slot mags, which I think is a 70s prerequisite. You don't see many rust-free Bedford CFs anyway, and the fact it's a usable camper van with some really lovely details, particularly on the upholstery. But let me take you inside. You'll understand why I'm so excited about this. Best bit, 4 to 4.5 grand. Can you imagine yourself in here? A summer's evening, the kids are outside playing on the BMXs, the dog's asleep in the shade, you've just had a delicious dinner on your 2-hob cooker, or maybe you've cooked a pie in the oven, maybe you've chilled a beer in the fridge because it's all here. It's just fantastic, isn't it? I do love camper vans very much. They are, again, I think one of the best bits of classic car ownership. I've got a Volkswagen camper. What's great about a CF, you don't pay the Volkswagen scene tax. They're so much cheaper. They're also a lot bigger. I think this is the ultimate practical classic that the kids can enjoy, the family can enjoy. You should get changed from 5 grand. There's a lot to love. Now, my third pick would be my full-size American pick because I'd be letting you down if there wasn't something huge and American in the auction and I didn't run straight to it. This is, I'm sure you've guessed already, a 1960 Ford Thunderbird. And why I think it's brilliant is, towards the end of the 1950s, Americans were having a lot of fun with car design. There was some wealth, there was some optimism, the war was long over, and car designers and car buyers were very much getting excited about jet travel, space travel, astronauts, rockets, all of that kind of stuff. And it all went into the design of the period. And this, you are really at almost the zenith of that. So you've lost the big fins of the 50s and it's heading towards the 1960s. But this era Thunderbird, to me, is just bonkers. Now, the Lincoln Futura was the car that was the Batmobile, but you can see, I think, little elements of that design language in this car, particularly around the tail. And it's just great. This particular car, which is actually very level on the body, paint could do with a little bit of a mop and a clean, but I think underneath this, you've got a very, very nice car. Slight crack on the dash. The interior's had an overhaul. It's had a brand new car put onto it. Used to belong to a Kuwaiti prince, this car, which you can kind of imagine. Didn't work when it was bought, now does work, drives beautifully, rumbles along with that sound that only a V8 can make. And just look at it, it's enormous. But why I like this car very much, not only because of the Batman vibes it's giving me, I just think American cars work everywhere. American cars are kind of the flash and fun that are only really reserved for cars that cost a lot of money, like supercars, hypercars. You get all of that same road presence with a 50s or 60s American car for 9 to 11 grand in the case of this. It's not fast, it does make a good noise, it does drink a lot of petrol, and you can get all of your family and mates into it. So that is definitely my US pick. Have a look at that one. Right, before we go on to the rest of the cars, just a quick word from this week's sponsor, who are the lovely people at Draper, who I've worked with for many, many years. Now this, if you know, a room full of 50 cars, some of them won't start. I can vouch from that from personal experience. And this is now my new go-to. This is the new GT24 starter. This will do up to 10 litres petrol engines and 8 litres of diesel engines. It can run 12 and 24 volts. It's got two 12-volt outlets and it's rated at 3,000 amps. And during the day, we managed to start over 20 flat cars using this charger. It's a superb thing. You can get yours at drapertools.com. For old cars, it's a workshop essential. Now this pick is a pick very dear to my heart. Everybody knows that I love Saab. I used to work for Saab. I have several Saabs. And in particular, I have several 99s. I have three 99s, a 68, a 75, and an 82. This is also an 82, and you're talking pretty much towards the end. They ran until 83, this model, which came out in 68. So it shows you just how right they got this car. Why I love the 99 so much is obviously the precursor to the 900 that came a little bit later. But it's just such a good little car. It's ever so safe, it's beautifully put together, incredibly strong, a little bit harder to drive with no power steering, and being a GL on a carb, it's not particularly fast, even though it is a 2 litre. But they just have, I think, a little chunk and a charm that a lot of cars don't have. This one ticks a huge amount of boxes. Look at the colour. This colour combination has come right back round again. Very rare in period for an 82. Not many people order this metallic brown. But look at the current Porsche lineup, look at the current Audi lineup. Metallic brown has become cool again. So this is bang on trend. Just goes to show, like my wardrobe, if you wait long enough, everything becomes fashionable again at some point. Now, a little bit of paint work to do. This has been in a barn for 10 years and the vendor's taken it out and recommissioned it and done a few jobs. Got a lot of nice things. A lot of money's been spent on it. Let me give you a little read here, look. Roof lining sagging, of course, it's an old Saab. They all do that, sir. Aftermarket choke. Lots of brake work done, lots of kind of coolant and engine work and check over. So it's not your typical barn find where nothing works. Everything does work. And the interior is just so brown and veloury. I love it very much indeed. Estimated 3 to 4 grand. I think if you are looking for a practical classic that's also very safe, if you've got kids that you want to put into a classic car, like 17, 18-year-olds, put them in a Saab 99. If they hit anything, they will destroy it and they'll just step out. These are a sensationally strong, very drivable, very usable car that everybody loves in a colour that I've just never seen. I think this is probably the third one of these I've ever seen in my life in this colour. That's a bit of a bargain. I like that very much. Now my final pick, because I can't decide, it's like trying to choose a favourite child, I'm going to give you a bonus one again. I keep doing this, don't I? I'm going to give you 5 and 6 as my final picks because, well, could you choose between these two? How about this really gorgeous XJ 3.2? Now normally these are, at this age, 1993, a little bit old, a little bit crusty, a slightly higher mileage, and a little bit tired. This is none of those things. This has a really low mileage. It's beautiful on the paint. Look at this, and the mileage, 61,000 with a monster history. So it's a deceased estate, which is always very sad. But the only light part of that is the fact the car's now for sale. And it really needs very little. Tiny little dent in the bumper. Interior needs nothing. Not a lot of money. I think, in fact, 5 to 5.5, which if you know your old XJ40s, you can easily spend that putting a bad one right. This doesn't need much at all. In fact, it just needs a clean, a polish, insuring, some petrol putting in. So that would certainly be a pick for me. Just the presence and the look of these cars. I'm a bit of an XJ fan anyway, you know that, but that one is particularly nice. And I just love the older square headlights. So that's one pick, but then I'm going to move you across to this one because I can't decide between the two. And then my final pick is this. This is the 2002 Legacy Outback. That much you can see. Colour-coded all in white, which I do think looks rather funky and quite modern. And unbelievably, this is now, believe it or not, a 23-year-old car. Can you believe that? A bona fide classic. Now, they're all cool, whichever engine you have. So this one, what makes it really special? Well, two things. One is an H6, so it's a flat 6. So if your dream car is a Porsche, as it is for many of us, and you dream of having a water-cooled flat 6 somewhere in your life, as long as you don't mind that it's not in the back and it's up front, here's your car. These are really torquey, lovely, smooth engine. I like these an awful lot. They were quite rare in 8.6 format. Not many people ordered them because they were quite expensive, but they are a lot of fun to drive. Very torquey, bustle along quite nicely. This car is 144,000 miles. It's no reserve, so I don't think it's going to be a huge amount of money, but it has a monster service history and it had a big service of 136,000 miles. So actually, I think it could be good. The other thing is, it's got a crack in the windscreen, so you could get that replaced on your classic policy, or you can still buy those screens directly from Subaru UK. I think that could be the bargain of the sale. So there you go. That was my top 5 picks. Hopefully there's something in there that you like. I even threw a bonus one in because I haven't got any decision-making potential today. There's something in this sale for everyone. Now, if you're liking and subscribing my videos, you should get this nice and early, probably Thursday. You've got a couple of days to have a like and a bid. There's a lot of cars in this auction, about 40 odd cars in this next auction. Hopefully there's something there you like, and I will put the description to the longer video down below as well. So if you want to see the whole thing, the whole walkthrough, that's there. But thank you for watching. I will bring you more car nonsense very, very soon, probably on Sunday. So make sure you're watching that one. I've got a new Jaguar update for you as well. Thanks for stopping by.